Hi everyone, I'm Sam, and today I'm going to show you how to auto-generate YouTube thumbnails using Claude Cowork connected to Canva. This video is part of a series where I try to automate as much of the tedious and process-oriented work of a YouTuber. In part 1, I auto-generated YouTube video ideas for this channel. In part 2, I connected those ideas to a project management software so I can actually start executing on them. And in part 3, which is this video, I auto-generate thumbnail ideas for those video ideas. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. So basically, these are my product ideas. Let's say I want to do a video reviewing Blue Dot 2.1. I'm going to click this button to add it to linear, and it's going to generate a thumbnail for me first. It's going to pick a reaction image. I uploaded like a few reaction shots of my face, and then it's going to create a task in linear. So we're just going to wait for it to finish. Okay, so my thumbnails are done. So I can click the thumbnails from here and they'll just open it up on Canva. Like, it's not, amazing, but I feel like it's still more helpful than like staring at a blank canvas. And if I also go to my task management software and I go find a task, it also has the links here. When I'm here, I can like modify these things, change the colors or make it bolder, remove things. Yeah. So I'm going to show you how I built this. So I'm going to begin in my project view. And if you don't know what a project view is or you miss any of the context, I really recommend going back to the beginning of this series so you understand. So from the project view, I'm going to say I want to connect to Canva. And it's going to walk me through it. This requires having a Canva account already and signing into it. So I'm already logged into my Canva on my browser. So I'm going to press this button to connect to Canva. It's going to ask me for permissions. Once the authorization is successful, it's going to redirect me back to Claude. And I'm connected. I can confirm by asking, yep, I am connected. You can also ask what features. So these are the things we can do. We can automate with Claude Cowork and Canva. Finding and viewing designs, creating designs from a text prompt, from brand templates, existing designs, etc. So we'll do the most simple implementation for now. So I asked it if I can make YouTube thumbnails based on custom text and pre-shot images of me. And it said yes, and to upload an image. Now the next thing to do is take a bunch of reaction images that you would want on your thumbnails. This is like the standard procedure of making thumbnails now, which is like these reaction face photos that essentially get recycled. Don't hate the player, hate the game. How I did it was I opened up Photo Booth and I went to camera and connected it to my phone. And then I just took like different reaction shots of shock, surprise, deadpan. You can ask Claude like what type of reactions to capture. And after that, I saved all of them to a reactions image folder. And then I told Claude, hey, can we practice generating a thumbnail with one of my reaction images? Normally, I like recording things as I'm doing this, but this process actually ended up being so cumbersome. I had to try like Adobe for creativity first and then try a built-in solution, but that just like used up all my tokens before I could figure out a solution. And then I resorted to Canva. So I couldn't record all of that because it actually took many hours. So some of this will be just me showing what I did. And if there's any gaps that I forgot to fill, please let me know. And I would be happy to clarify in the comment section. So after I took the reaction photos, I also uploaded it to Canva and removed the background. I think you can also do this in the Mac file thing now. I think there's a quick actions, remove background, so you don't even have to export it to a different software. So then I asked Claude, hey, let's practice with this image. And then it asked for like what type of text I want on the thumbnail. I said, let's be meta and say automating thumbnail creation. I put the images in my workspace folder. The workspace folder is specified here. This says on your computer. And if you need to know where this is, it's usually in your Documents, Claude, projects, and then whatever project you have. So I put all my images into this folder called reaction-images. So on the first attempt, it actually didn't render my image, only the text, and then this other guy's image. So I was like, hey, what's going on? And apparently it has something to do with URLs. It needs a public URL. So what I did was I went to Google Drive, and then I dragged and dropped the files. Once you drag it, like let's say I did this deadpan image, you then can go to share, and then you can do anyone with a link can access. So I shared that Google Drive URL. It had to do like some trick to convert it to like a format that it wants, like a downloadable URL. And then it uploaded it to Canva as a asset. So then it assigned an asset ID to the reaction image so that you can use it in the Canva designs. And then this was like what it came up with for the thumbnails and my reaction. So yeah, that was pretty cool. The previews here were broken, so I asked it why, and it just said like, just rely on these basically, and don't worry about the embedded viewer. And then I also asked it like, what query was it specifically using, like to Canva, to ask it to generate. So it told me the query it was using, like large chunky text on the left side in bright yellow or white, upload of a woman with shocked surprise expression. So basically you can modify the query to have like creative control over the output increasingly. So you can play around with the query. So after getting this part to work, I asked it to go to the next phase, which is to add a generate thumbnail button to the AI product digest, which is like my artifact here, so that it could pragmatically generate thumbnails based on the product information on that row. So it did that in a pretty straightforward way. It calls generate design, it adds a button, and then it automatically fills the text query that it sends to Canva with the product information, hook in this case. And then it shows the 4 candidate thumbnail links from Canva. I also tried for it to like capture logos of whatever product I was talking about, the companies, but I didn't manage to make it succeed. Maybe I will try again in the future to have it automatically impose logos on the generated thumbnail as well, because I think that would be very helpful. The other thing I did was so far I was just playing with one reaction image. So I said I wanted to pass different reaction images based on what product I am reviewing and what type of reaction it justifies. So I said, are you able to pass different reaction images based on the context of the product? I can upload them all. You save the identifiers on Canva and then select which one to send to Canva based on context. So I basically followed the process for the first image I showed, where I uploaded it to Google Drive and then made it public with anyone that has the link, and then pasted the links here. And then it created the asset IDs for all of them. And then I updated the query a little bit, asked it to remove things like episode mentions. And then I asked it whether it could link the thumbnails to my task or issue on Linear. So it said it's possible, and then it gave me a bunch of different options. And then I had to debug a little bit. When I would click the button, it wouldn't do things. So I basically just would ask it the issue and then I would fix it. I don't think I need to go over that. If you have any problems, just ask the chat and it will fix it for you. I also combined, initially I had one button for generate thumbnail and one button for add to linear. And I just combined it so that both things happen when I click add to linear. I also had an issue where it wasn't actually selecting reaction images, but just always defaulting to a failed case of shocked. So I asked it to fix it, and it also fixed that. And then I also had an issue with the next day, the thumbnail generation function disappearing and it going back to the old state in the AI product digest. So it had to do some debugging to make sure that I wasn't replacing the previous, so that I wasn't resetting the artifact with the previous code. That's it. Now I'm sorry, this was not a lot of me doing and showing. This was really just me showing the solution I came with, which is not, I understand, that fun. But this was such a painful process until I found the right connector and design tool that worked. And even now it's not perfect because it auto-generates similar templates, and I would like it to be more dynamic and generative. So in the future I might revisit this task and connect it to something like Google Omni, which hopefully will be added as a connector in the future. But for now, this achieves the goal of removing the friction. Thank you for watching, and subscribe for more videos.